All right, today we're going to talk about the single most underrated tool for any founder out there. And no, it's not some flashy new app or a crazy productivity hack. It's something that's probably already sitting on your shelf.
I mean, if you're a startup founder, you know this world is just a total whirlwind, right? Constant change. An idea that feels like a world beater one day can feel completely useless the next. So with all that chaos swirling around, how in the world do you actually find your way forward without just getting lost? And let's be real, the stakes could not be higher. Just think about this for a second. For every 10 startups that launch, the ones with brilliant ideas, passionate teams, 6 of them won't even see their third birthday. That's a 60% failure rate. It's just a staggering number, and it really shows you how treacherous this journey is. Getting it right from day one is absolutely critical. So, why does this happen? Well, a huge reason for that crazy high failure rate isn't that the ideas are bad. Not at all. It's usually a series of mistakes that were totally avoidable. You see, founders are forced to make these huge decisions in those really murky, unpredictable early days, and just one wrong turn can be lights out. Okay, so how do you find some clarity in all that mess? This is where that secret weapon I mentioned comes into play. Books. Seriously. They can be your proven, battle-tested roadmap for the whole crazy journey. I mean, it's all about not reinventing the wheel, right? Why would you guess? Why go through all that expensive, super time-consuming trial and error when you can literally just absorb the frameworks from people who have already been in the trenches, fought these battles, and then wrote down their exact strategies for you? And look, this isn't just some feel-good theory. The data on this is just overwhelming. A whopping 78% of entrepreneurs, think about that, that's nearly 4 out of every 5, say that reading has directly impacted their business strategy. So this isn't just about getting inspired, it's a real, practical tool that helps you cut through the noise and gives you a clear path forward. What's really interesting, though, is that books don't just give you one single answer. They actually present these competing ideas. So you've got the lean startup, which is all about this cycle of test, build, learn, repeat, just keep iterating. But then you have 0 to 1, which says, forget all that, avoid competition completely by building something totally new. And the real value here isn't about picking one right answer. It's that these ideas force you to think critically about which path is right for you. Okay, but let's move on. Because beyond these big, grand strategies, books give you something that might be even more valuable. A chance to learn from other people's failures, so you don't have to make them yourself. Books like Ben Horowitz's The Hard Thing About Hard Things, they're just essential reading. Why? Because they don't sugarcoat anything. They give you this raw, brutally honest look at what it's really like to build a company. And when you're going through your own struggles, reading that makes you feel a whole lot less alone. This is it. This is how you learn the hard lessons the easy way. By reading about someone else's failures. The messy hires, the terrifying cash flow nightmares. You're getting prepared. You learn to spot the red flags and avoid those same mistakes, all without having to suffer through them yourself. It's literally like having a mentor on your nightstand. And we're talking about really practical wisdom here. Things like how to avoid hiring the wrong people, knowing when it's time to pivot, or how to actually implement a goal-setting system like OKRs, that's objectives and key results, from a great book called Measure What Matters. All these documented screw-ups basically become your personal guide on what to watch out for. All right, let's shift gears a little. Because a startup is way more than just a product or a strategy, right? It's a tribe. It's a team of people all pulling in the same direction. And guess what? Books basically give you the DNA, the blueprint for building a culture that can actually win. And again, the data on this is crystal clear. Check this out. Companies with really strong, engaged cultures, they're a full 21% more profitable than their competition. So this whole culture thing, it isn't some soft, fluffy skill. It's a core piece of the business that hits the bottom line hard. So the big question is, how do you build a culture like that? Well, frameworks from books give you the blueprint. A perfect example is Kim Scott's idea of radical candor. It's such a simple but powerful concept. It just means you have to do 2 things: care personally about your people and challenge them directly. When you do both, you build trust and you get real growth. So look, when you start putting all this stuff together, you've got the strategic roadmaps, you've got the stories of what not to do, you've got the guides to building an amazing culture. Reading stops being a hobby. It becomes a genuine, honest-to-goodness, unfair advantage. And this is how you get that head start. Being forewarned really is being forearmed. For example, if you read a book like The Innovator's Dilemma, you're suddenly equipped to see disruptive innovation coming before it completely sinks your company. It's like you learn how to see around corners. And this isn't just theoretical. Founders are actually doing this every single day. Get this, a mind-blowing 90%. That is almost every single founder who reads regularly says they have taken ideas straight from a book and put them to work in their business. This is not passive learning. It's an active toolkit for success. And all of this translates into the one thing every founder is thinking about: getting funded. The numbers show that founders who read on the regular have a 30% higher chance of successfully raising capital. And why is that? It's simple. Investors can spot a founder who's done the homework. They know when they're talking to a leader who learns from the best. So, at the end of the day, here's the deal. In this age of super quick content, podcasts, short videos, all that stuff is great for quick hits of info. But books, they offer something totally different. They give you depth. They actually force you to slow down, to think, to reflect, and to engage in that deep, strategic thinking that you absolutely need for any kind of long-term success. So as we wrap this up, I want you to think about this question. What are you going to read next? Because that next great strategy you're looking for, that perspective you need, the solution to that huge problem you're facing, chances are it's already sitting on a shelf somewhere, just waiting for you to open it up